My dear brothers and sisters, there comes a moment in every person's life, a moment where the world becomes so heavy on your shoulders that even breathing feels like an effort. A moment where you smile in public, but the minute you close your door, that smile collapses. A moment where people say, "You're strong, you'll be fine," not knowing that your heart is trembling, your mind is exhausted, and your soul is begging for a break. And maybe right now, as you listen to these words, you're carrying something no one else sees. A pain, a fear, a disappointment, a heartbreak, a burden that keeps you awake long after everyone else has fallen asleep. You're walking through life pretending everything is okay. Yet deep down you're whispering, "Allah, I'm trying but I'm tired." You've been strong for so long that even your strength is asking for strength. You've cried so silently that even your tears have learned to hide. And you've prayed with a voice that sometimes trembles, wondering if anyone truly understands the load you're carrying. But let me tell you something today, and I want you to let this settle deep inside your heart. Allah knows the weight you are carrying. He knows the battles that drain you. He knows the thoughts that suffocate you. He knows the pressure that keeps building, even when you say, "I'm okay." He knows, He sees, He hears, He understands. When people judge your mood but not your struggle, Allah knows. When people see your face but not your wounds, Allah knows. When people see your silence but not your storm, Allah knows. And the most powerful comfort in the world is not someone fixing your problem, but simply knowing that the one who controls the heavens and the earth is fully aware of every detail of your pain. Allah is not unaware of your sleepless nights. Allah is not unaware of your hidden tears. Allah is not unaware of your private du'as. Allah is not unaware of the weight you carry on your heart, your mind and your soul. My brothers and sisters, if you only knew how closely Allah watches over you in your lowest moments, you would never feel alone again. Even when you stumble, even when you break, even when the road feels endless, His mercy surrounds you more than you realize. So listen carefully today, because this message isn't random. You didn't scroll here by accident. You didn't press play by mistake. This message came to you right on time. Because Allah wants to remind you that He knows what you're carrying, and He will not leave you under that weight. When you walk through life carrying a weight that no one sees, it can feel like the loneliest experience on earth. You look around and people are living, smiling, laughing, carrying on with their routines, while inside you're fighting a battle that drains you every single day. And sometimes the most painful part of your struggle is not the struggle itself, it's the fact that nobody truly understands it. You begin to wonder if anyone notices the heaviness you're dragging behind you, the thoughts that keep you awake, the fears that tighten around your heart, the responsibilities that feel too big for your shoulders. You may not say it out loud, but deep inside you whisper, "Does anyone even see what I'm going through?" And that's where the quiet reassurance of knowing that Allah sees everything becomes your greatest comfort. There is a kind of pain that doesn't show. You can be surrounded by people and yet feel completely invisible because no one knows how hard it is for you just to get through the day. You wake up, put on a brave face, act strong, smile when needed, complete your tasks and serve your responsibilities. But when the world goes silent, your heart begins to speak. It speaks through the tears you hold back. It speaks through the sighs you let out when no one is around. It speaks through those moments where you stare into space wondering how much longer you can keep going. And even though no one hears that silent voice, Allah hears it clearly. Allah knows the depth of every emotion you hide. He knows when you pretend to be okay so others don't worry. He knows the moments you lower your gaze not out of shyness, but because you're trying to hide the sadness in your eyes. He knows when you walk away from conversations because your heart feels too heavy to engage. He knows the exact second your soul feels overwhelmed. And He knows these things not because you say them, but because He is the one who created your heart in the first place. He understands your silence better than people understand your words. Sometimes your struggle becomes so intense that you begin to feel guilty for feeling the way you do. You tell yourself you should be stronger, more patient, more grateful, less emotional. But Allah doesn't ask you to carry your burdens with perfection. He asks you to remember Him while carrying them. And even when your remembrance is weak, even when your faith feels tired, even when your prayers come with tears instead of words, He still knows and He still listens. There are moments when you cry in sujood, not knowing what to ask for anymore. You just let your tears fall because words are too heavy to form. Those tears reach Allah, those wordless du'as are more powerful than you think. They are a testimony that even in your weakness, your heart is still connected to Him. And the most beautiful part is this: nothing you carry goes unnoticed. Not a single hardship, not a single breath of pain, not a single test. Allah sees the weight you bear, and He will reward you for it in ways far beyond your imagination. You don't have to explain your struggles to anyone, because the one who matters already knows. There are times in life when the weight you carry feels unbearable, when every step forward feels like you are dragging a mountain behind you. In those moments, it is natural to think that this hardship is going to break you. You might feel overwhelmed, confused, or even question why your heart has been placed under such pressure. But what many people fail to see, what even you may not realize during the storm, is that Allah never places a weight on you except to shape you, not to shatter you. What feels like a breaking point is often a turning point. What feels like the hardest chapter is often the one that prepares you for the greatest blessings ahead. Hardship has a strange way of revealing who you really are. When life is easy, you don't notice your strengths. You don't discover your patience. You don't uncover your faith. But when life pushes you into difficult corners, that's when the deepest parts of you rise to the surface. Pain teaches you lessons that comfort never can. It forces you to grow in ways you would never grow if everything was smooth. It teaches you resilience, the kind you didn't know you had. It teaches you humility, the kind that burns away arrogance and leaves sincerity. It teaches you trust, the kind that makes you fall into Allah's hands completely because you have nowhere else to fall. Think of how a seed must break before it becomes a tree. Think of how a mountain is formed through pressure. Think of how iron becomes strong only through fire. Everything valuable in this world is shaped through difficulty, not ease. Why would your soul be any different? Allah knows your potential even when you don't. He knows what you can handle even when you are convinced you cannot. He knows what strengths are hidden inside you, and sometimes He allows a hardship to pull those strengths into the light. There are trials that force you to reflect. There are burdens that cut off unnecessary attachments. There are struggles that realign your priorities. And there are pains that push you closer to Allah in a way comfort never could. You begin to understand that some weights were placed on you not to slow you down, but to wake you up. Not to punish you, but to purify you. Not to close your doors, but to open new ones you never noticed before. Many times the hardship you complain about today becomes the wisdom you share tomorrow. The tears you cry now become the strength you stand on later. The patience you develop becomes a shield that protects you in future trials. And the faith you build during difficulty becomes the light that guides you for the rest of your life. You might not see it now, but your struggle is shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more grounded in faith. Nothing you go through is wasted. Allah is crafting you with divine precision. Every burden is building you. Every delay is refining you. Every challenge is preparing you for something greater. And one day, you will look back and realize that what you thought was breaking you was actually building you into exactly who you needed to become. There comes a moment in every person's journey where the weight they are carrying feels so overwhelming that they start to wonder whether they have reached their limit. You might look at your situation and think, I can't handle this anymore. This is too much for me. But the truth is, if Allah allowed this hardship to come your way, then He already knows you have the capacity to get through it. Even when you doubt yourself, Allah does not doubt you. Even when you feel weak, Allah knows the strength that lies within you. And this is not just a comforting statement, it is a divine promise. Allah has declared that He never burdens a soul with more than it can bear. So if you are carrying something heavy right now, it's because your Creator knows that deep inside you, there is a strength you haven't even discovered yet. Think for a moment about all the moments in your life where you thought you would break. Times you thought you wouldn't survive. Days where the pain felt endless. Nights where you cried until your heart felt numb, and yet here you are. Still standing, still breathing, still fighting, still hoping. There were storms you thought would drown you, but you walked out of them stronger. There were wounds you thought would never heal, yet they taught you lessons that shaped your soul. There were losses you thought would destroy you, but they redirected your life towards something better. If you survived all of that, what makes you believe you won't survive this chapter 2? Sometimes Allah allows the burden to feel heavy not because He wants to break you, but because He wants you to finally turn toward Him fully. When life is light and easy, We often forget to rely on Allah completely. But when life becomes dark and confusing, that's when we learn that only Allah can carry what we cannot. And that realization itself is a gift. It strengthens your faith. It deepens your trust. It opens your heart to a level of reliance you never knew you were capable of. Remember, the same Allah who removed your previous difficulties is the same Allah who is watching over you now. The same Allah who opened doors for you in the past will open new ones again. The same Allah who carried you through hardships you didn't speak about will carry you through this one too. You may feel like this is the heaviest burden you have ever held. But Allah knows exactly how much you can take, and He knows precisely when to send you relief. Sometimes the way out is not instant. Sometimes it requires patience, dua, perseverance, and trust. But the way out always comes. Hardships are like tunnels, dark, cold, and isolating, but every tunnel leads somewhere. You don't see the exit while you're inside, but that doesn't mean it isn't there. Allah has already written your relief. He has already prepared your ease. He has already decided the moment when the weight you carry will finally be lifted from your shoulders. Your job is not to figure out when or how. Your job is to keep walking, keep praying, keep holding on. Because if Allah brought you to this moment, it is only because He has already prepared the strength and the victory that comes after it. You are not alone in your struggle, and you are not without divine support. Relief is closer than you think. There comes a point in every struggle where your heart feels so tired that even thinking about the problem hurts. You carry your burdens quietly, you fight your battles silently, and you push yourself forward because you feel like you have no choice. But deep down, there is a moment when you whisper to yourself, I can't keep doing this alone. And that moment, when your strength fades, when your patience feels thin, when your heart feels heavy, is the exact moment Allah invites you to hand your burdens over to Him. You were never created to carry everything by yourself. You were never meant to solve every problem alone. You were never designed to hold every stress, every fear, every disappointment, every heartbreak inside your chest. The human heart is fragile, limited, easily overwhelmed. But the mercy of Allah is limitless. His power is infinite. His care surrounds you in ways you don't always notice. And when you finally surrender your worries to Him, something remarkable begins to happen. The weight feels lighter, not because the situation changed immediately, but because your heart no longer carries it by itself. Handing your burden to Allah does not mean giving up. It means recognizing that there are things in life you can control and things you cannot. It means admitting that your strength has limits, but Allah's does not. It means allowing yourself to breathe, to trust, to rest your heart in the hands of the one who never fails, never forgets, and never makes mistakes. There is a kind of peace that enters your soul when you say, Allah, I leave it in your hands. It is a peace the world cannot give. It is a peace that washes over you even while your circumstances remain the same. It is a peace that tells your heart, you are not alone. You are cared for. You are carried. When you hand your burdens to Allah, you begin to realize that not every delay is harmful. Sometimes Allah delays an answer because something better is being prepared. Not every closed door is a rejection. Sometimes it is protection from something you cannot see. Not every hardship is punishment. Sometimes it is purification, elevation, or redirection towards something far greater. Relief comes in many forms, sometimes through solutions, sometimes through strength, and sometimes through a change of heart that allows you to see the wisdom behind your struggle. You cannot lift every heavy thing in your life. You cannot fix every person. You cannot control every outcome. But you can turn to Allah. You can speak to Him in the silence of the night. You can cry in sujood when no one else understands your pain. You can pour out your heart completely, knowing that not a single word, tear, or breath escapes His knowledge. And the most beautiful part, when you hand your burdens to Allah, He never returns them to you the same way. He either removes them, transforms them, or strengthens you until they no longer feel heavy. He replaces fear with tranquility, confusion with clarity, and sorrow with hope. He gives you what you need, sometimes before you ask, sometimes after you break, but always at the perfect time. Relief will come. It always does. But first, let your heart release what it cannot carry and place it in the hands of the one who can. In the end, my dear brothers and sisters, remember this: the weight you carry today is not a sign of weakness, nor is it a sign that Allah has abandoned you. It is a sign that you are being shaped, refined, and elevated through a process that only Allah fully understands. Your tears are seen. Your struggles are recorded, your patience is valued, and your dua is heard even before it leaves your heart. You may feel tired, but Allah is never tired of protecting you. You may feel lost, But Allah is never unaware of where you are. You may feel overwhelmed, but Allah is never unaware of the strength He placed inside you. Trust that every hardship has a purpose, every delay has wisdom, and every burden is temporary. What you are carrying will not break you, it will transform you. Relief is written for you. Ease is promised to you. And the one who knows the weight you carry is the same one who will lighten it when the time is right. Hold on to hope, hold on to faith, and keep moving forward, knowing that your Lord is with you every step of the way. If this message touched your heart, then share it with someone who might be silently struggling. And don't forget to subscribe for more reminders that uplift, strengthen, and connect your heart to Allah. May Allah ease your burden and fill your life with peace. Ameen.